Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current and latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So potentially Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has come out and he's given his own preference on some of the players of course, and he has basically said Ole Gunnar Solsjaker that some of the players do need a reality check of course, and he has said it in relation to Anthony Martial, because potentially I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has spoken to Anthony Martial, based on his poor performances, of course, and Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has told Martial that he does need to go and get a reality check, of course, because most recently Manchester United, of course, have been in a bad vein of form, of course. We've lost 5 of our last 7 games in all competitions as well. But as I did currently say, the players have been really disappointed with, at least in the last 2 to 3 months as well. I think Paul Pogba most recently has been really poor indeed, but I think in relation to the likes of Rashford, Martial and Lingard, that trio have been very disappointed now for at least a couple of months as well. And I think in relation to Anthony Martial, for me, he was in really good form earlier on in the season for Manchester United, but at least in the last couple of months, he's really failed to replicate that indeed. But as I did say, the trio of Martial, Rashford and Lingard, they are the short-term problem at the moment, based on their poor performances, but they are still the long-term solution, to be quite honest with you as well. But Martial, I still really like him. He's still got immense talent, of course. He's only 23 years of age, and of course he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. In relation to Marcus Rashford as well, I think in my own preference, that Rashford is still in the process of of developing his Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest with you. He's only 21 years of age, his Marcus Rashford, don't forget. But I think he has sustained quite a few injuries, as Marcus Rashford, and I think it's taken its toll on him. It has had a bad effect on Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest with you, and he is nowhere near on the same level as Kylian Mbappe, and I think it could take Rashford at least a couple of years, to emulate, to that level, to be quite honest with you. But I still really like Rashford, of course. He's born and bred in Manchester. He's been a United player, since the age of 7. He's progressed up the ranks fantastically well, and he's been in the senior squad, with Manchester United since 2016 as Marcus Rashford as well. But his performances have been really poor, in the last couple of months indeed. So he has got to really step up to the plate. In relation to Jesse Lingard as well, I've been very disappointed with Jesse Lingard, because I think Jesse Lingard now is 27 years of age, of course, and I know what he's capable of on that right hand side. Jesse Lingard, he has proven himself, in the past as Jesse Lingard, but in the last couple of months, his performances have been, way below par indeed. And in relation, in relation, to Paul Pogba as well, I've been very disappointed, with him indeed. And to be fair, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has been recommended to come in, Paul Pogba has been one of our most influential players. He's built a great relationship up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but most recently, Paul Pogba has been in really bad form, to be quite honest with you as well. But as I did say, he's supposed to be, one of the best midfielders in world football. Of course, he's a World Cup winner as well. So Paul Pogba, of course, has got to step up to the plate as well. We've seen the likes of David De Gea, he's made a couple of mistakes in the last couple of games as well. I don't know if it's something to do with a contract issue. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you, but he's still arguably, the best goalkeeper in the world. He's been a great servant to the club so far. This is now his 8th season at Manchester United, of course, as well as David De Gea, so he's got to really, remain focused as well. For me, Ashley Young, of course, for me, needs to be dropped on Sunday against Everton, because Ashley Young is very poor indeed. As I did say, I've admired his career. He's been at Manchester United, what now, 8 years, something like that. And back in the day, Ashley Young, was Ashley Young, was a good, winger back in the day. He's been here about 8 years. As I said, I think he's made about over 300 odd appearances for the club. And as I did currently say, I think it was bad business from Manchester United, giving him, that new 1-year extension. Because by the time that new 1-year extension expires, Ashley Young, of course, will be nearly 35 years of age. So potentially, I want him out of Manchester United this summer, because he has cost us in quite a few games. Most recently, he's making the same mistakes week in, week out. He's too easily predictable as well. So I do want Ashley Young out of the club as well. So as I did say, there is certain individuals, that have got to really step up to the plate, because for me, we're lacking desire in that team. And most recently, we've seen no fight, we've seen no passion, of course, and we are lacking leaders in that team, as I said. And for me, the team from back to front, is just potentially, not good enough. And as I did say, this is why Ole Gunnar Solsjaer this summer has got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window. We've got to get our number 1 targets, of course, as well. Reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is going to get a spending spree of around over £200 million to spend this summer. summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, from his own preference, I think wants at least 5 new additions to come in. But obviously he's making plans, what players, he wants to recommend to come in, what players are going to leave. We've obviously, got to make a decision who's going to be the new captain as well. And obviously, we've got to get a director of footballing to obviously, change the club structure and all that. As I did say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing in this summer window, but it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is emphasising his targets indeed. But as I did currently say, our recruitment policy, is very, very poor indeed. But, we have been in a bad vein of form recently because we've lost 5 of our last 7 games in all competitions as well. And these some players at the moment, that are just not quite standard, to represent, Manchester United week in, week out. And this is why I did say Solskjaer, maybe needs to drop, quite a few players, that are underperforming, to be quite honest with you as well. But Solskjaer has identified the positions where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. I think we need a right back, we need a right winger, we possibly need a backup striker, we need a couple of additions in midfield, and we also need a central defender as well, because you can potentially see, the deficiencies in the squad. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history. But obviously we want to get Champions League football for next season, which is very, very essential indeed. So potentially in that aspect, we want to get top 4 this season and get Champions League football for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer window, and potentially, that we can attract players to the highest level as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, because we didn't spend out in January. We didn't spend out, we didn't get as priority targets last summer. We did spend some money, but we didn't get as priority targets last summer as well. But I still have a lot of belief in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still believe, he can take us forward, to be quite honest with you. It's just seemed to have all gone wrong, since he has been named the club's full-time manager. Is it something to do with a sort of, different level of pressure now or something like that? I don't know. Because when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was interim manager of Manchester United in his first 3 months, everything was going really, really well. He was getting the best out of the group of players. The performances were good. The results were very, very good indeed. And it's, and potentially, in my opinion, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, exceeded expectations, when he was interim manager. So it's just seemed to have all gone wrong, since he's been named the club's full-time manager as well. You've just seen my Everton versus Manchester United preview, of course, as well. Obviously, it's been confirmed that Sanchez and Matic, will probably be involved. In relation to Alexis Sanchez, I wouldn't like to see, Sanchez start this game, to be quite honest with you, because Sanchez has been very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. He's also, sustained quite a few injuries. Obviously, he hasn't played in the Premier League, since Manchester United, won by 3-2 against Southampton. But as I did say, he has sustained, quite a few injuries, and he's been inconsistent, as I said, and that's not good enough, for the player. That's our highest paid player in the Premier League, of course. He's also the highest paid player in the club, and I think his current wages, that his current wages, that he's receiving, Alexis Sanchez, in my opinion, it's really taking its toll, and it's affecting our wage structure in a bad way, to be quite honest. So I still want Sanchez to leave in the summer, but he could be involved at the weekend against Everton. But Sanchez, as I did currently say, he's aging up now. As I said, he's 30 years of age. He's no longer playing to the highest level. He has lost that yard of pace as well. So for me, he's not trustworthy, Alexis Sanchez. If he, now obviously he's recovered from his long-term absence because he did recently have an knee injury. If he can now, when he does get the opportunity, if he can step up to the plate, then I will be very, very impressed indeed. But for me, I wouldn't start Sanchez on Sunday against Everton. We have heard about Nemanja Matic, of course, as well, as I did say on my preview. Nemanja Matic has missed the last 4 games for Manchester United, obviously because he's had an illness and an injury, so it's been combined, together. But Matic, for me, I've got strong reservations about him, to be quite honest. He's aging up, he's too slow, to be quite honest with you, he's Matic, and plus, as I did say, he's aging up as well, but he could be, he's going to be probably involved in the game is Nemanja Matic, so that has been confirmed. We have heard some news in relation to Ander Herrera as well. I can't see Ander Herrera, participating in this game, but I think he could be available for the Manchester City game. It has confirmed Ander Herrera has now returned back to training. It has confirmed Ander Herrera has returned back to training, because I think recently he's been out with a hamstring injury, Ander Herrera, so potentially that's been confirmed. We've had some news in relation to Eric Bay as well. Obviously, Eric Bay, of course, has been recently out with a concussion, of course, and he has been in and out of the team this season. I think he's set to return back to training this weekend as well, so he could be in contention to play against City. I doubt he'll be involved against Everton on Sunday. We haven't really heard much news about Antonio Antonio Valencia. Of course, Valencia is currently out with a calf injury at the moment as well. But we do know that Luke Shaw is suspended. He's going to be a big misses, Luke Shaw, to be quite honest, because obviously he's still young. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back, and he's been at Manchester United now, a number of years, Luke Shaw. But for me, he's very, very reliable on that left-hand side. He shows that ability to attack. His defensive capabilities are good. He makes them overlapping runs on the left-hand side as well. So Luke Shaw is going to be a big miss indeed. So as I did say, maybe Darmian, could be in contention to full that left-back position, because obviously, Matteo Darmian, has just recently, recovered from long-term absence. Maybe Rojo could play at that left-back position, because Rojo did play against West Ham. I wouldn't put Rojo at left-back, to be quite honest with you. So it could be either Darmian, Rojo at left-back, even possibly, Diego Dalot, could play at left-back, maybe even Ashley Young, might get put at the left-back position, because obviously, Ashley Young was playing at left-back against Barcelona, of course, as well. So potentially my own preference, as I did say on my preview, I think it would probably be Darmian at left-back and Diego Dalot at right-back, or the other way around, to be quite honest with him as well. I think the central defensive area, will probably, be Smalling and Lindelof, which mainly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been going with. For my own preference, I think he'll go with it. He'll revert back to the midfield of McTominay, Fred and Pogba. That's what I think the midfield will be. And as I did say, most recently, I've been really, really impressed, with the likes of Fred and McTominay. And as I did say, I've been really, really known, for criticising Fred, to be quite honest with you. And I still don't know if he's a long-term solution, to be quite honest with you. But I think in the last 3 games, Fred has really stepped up. He's been supporting the defence very, very good. He's been feeding the players ahead of him really, really well. And he's probably he's at this moment in time, I think, is the right solution. I think he's probably more mobile and better on the ball, than the Nemanja Matic, to be quite honest with him as well. So most recently, Fred, has really, really proven himself, to be quite honest with you. And I think McTominay, has really, really proven himself as well. I've been impressed with him. He's been playing between the lines very, very well. He looks very, very influential in that midfield, and he has been fitting in that midfield, very, very well as McTominay. And he's still young, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him as well. So the midfield I'd go with is going to be obviously, McTominay, Fred, and Paul Pogba. And I do think, the front three, will obviously, be Martial, Rashford, and Lingard, of course. But we do know there has been talk, that Sanchez, could be starting the game as well. So that is, potentially, my predicted 11 in this game. But for me, Manchester United have got to win this game against Everton on Sunday, of course, to keep our top 4 ambitions alive. We do know this is going to be a very, very difficult game indeed. Everton, of course, as I did say, they've won 3 of their last 4 games, of course. And most recently, at Goodison Park, they've taken points off the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool as well. So we do know it's going to be a difficult game indeed. But obviously Everton are fighting for 7th place. Everton are sitting 9th in the league. Everton, of course, as I did say, I've got Andrea Gomez out. He is suspended. He's got a 3-match suspension. I think Everton got him on loan, was it, from Barcelona. So he won't be involved in the game as well. And this fixture, as I did say, was 2-0 last season, of course, as well. Potentially for me, David De Gea has got to step up. As I did say, he's got to step up to the plate as well, as I did say, because he's been recently, making a couple of mistakes as De Gea. As I did say, I don't know if it's something to do with the contract issue. I do not know, but he's also got to step up as well. So potentially, these players have got to really, really deliver against Everton on Sunday as well. But as I did currently say, the players I want out of this club in the summer, of course, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out. I think maybe get about 5 new additions in, maybe get rid of 5 or 6 in the summer at least. I think we know Valencia is definitely on his way out the club. He's been a servant. He's been a long-serving player for Manchester United. This is 10th season now at Manchester United, of course, Antonio Valencia's. But obviously we know he's going to leave when his contract expires in the summer. Obviously we didn't trigger that 1-year extension as well. We opted against the decision. I want Ashley Young out, as I said. I want Jones and Smalling out, now Smalling and Jones, just potentially, not good enough, to represent Manchester United, of course, now week in, week out. So I definitely, want Smalling out of the club. And I think that was bad business for Manchester United, as I do keep saying, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract as well. And Smalling and Phil Jones, have been here, they've been 2 long-serving players here at the club. This is Smalling's 9th season at Manchester United. He's won everything here domestically, and I think he's made over 300 odd appearances for the club. club. You know, Jones has been here a good, 7, 8 years now, Manchester United as well, but they're not playing, you know, they're just not good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United now, so potentially, you know, I do want them out in the summer as well. You know, I think Darmian, you know, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time here at Manchester United. I think he could be on his way out in the summer. I also want Marcus Rojo out as well, because his career has been mainly affected, you know, the amount of injuries he suffered as a Manchester United player. He's just recovered from long-term absence, but he could possibly be in line, you know, to feature on Sunday against Everton. He could possibly, you know, play at that left-back position, you know, Marcus Rojo as well, but potentially, you know, he's just not good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United, so potentially, you know, I want Marcus Rojo out as well in the summer. As we do currently know in relation to Ander Herrera, it's still not fully confirmed that he is going to be going to PSG on a free in the summer, unless Manchester United somewhere along the line, you know, can come to an agreement to get him a new contract, of course. Reports came out the other week saying that allegedly he'd agreed a deal to join PSG on a 3-year deal, I think, you know, worth around £150 million. But Ander Herrera, you know, overall, since Solskjaer's coming, you know, his performances have been really, really good, Ander Herrera's, and, you know, he's been fitting that midfield trio very, very well. You know, he breaks up the play very, very well, does Ander Herrera, and he has been a good servant to the club. You know, this is his 5th season now at Manchester United, you know, Ander Herrera's. I think he's made about 187 appearances in all competitions for the club. We did pay just under £30 million to him from Atletico Bilbao, you know, back in 2014 as well, Ander Herrera, but I think he's going to be in contention, you know, to be involved in the Manchester City game, of course, as well. But reports were saying that reportedly Ander Herrera was demanding 200 grand a week from Manchester United, reportedly, and reportedly Man United were not willing to meet his current wage demands, reportedly as well. But if he is to go, obviously, you know, we're emphasising, you know, a couple of targets that could possibly, you know, replace Herrera as well, and Pogba's future is still up in the air. Of course, I still really like Paul Pogba, you know, to be quite honest with you. And as I did say, you know, as I do keep saying, you know, he's been one of our most influential players since Solskjaer's come in. But most recently, Paul Pogba has not replicated that form, to be quite honest with you. When he's at his best, you know, he's definitely, you know, one of the best midfielders in world football. You know, when he's playing in the right vein, when he's playing in the right manner, of course. And he has built a great relationship up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. And recent reports did say the other week that reportedly Paul Pogba's relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly is slowly fading. Paul Pogba, of course, had a really, really bad relationship with Jose Mourinho, of course, and this is why potentially, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, currently wasn't performing under the Jose Mourinho era, just like quite a few other players as well, because Jose Mourinho wasn't the right man for Manchester United, of course, because the football was crap. You know, Jose Mourinho, you know, had disputes, you know, with quite a lot of our players. He had bad relationships, you know, with quite a few of our players. He also had bad disputes with the board as well. So he just wasn't the right man for Manchester United. And I still think, you know, we've made the right decision, you know, getting rid of Jose Mourinho. But as I did say, you know, I don't know what's going on with Paul Pogba at the moment, because most recently, as I did say, his performances have been way below par. So as I did say, he's got to step up to the plate. We do know there's been a lot of rumours, you know, linking him with a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, his agent Raiola, of course, has been to, you know, he's been to Spain, he's been to Madrid a couple of times. He's had a couple of negotiations with Real Madrid a couple of times over the summer move. I think he's also been to Manchester to negotiate a summer move for Paul Pogba as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had his say on the whole situation. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists he won't leave Man United. Solskjaer is convinced he'll still be here next season, and Solskjaer insists that he's focused on Manchester United, of course, as well. So Solskjaer has obviously, you know, spoken to Paul Pogba, of course. Reports came out the other week saying that Paul Pogba wanted around 500 grand a week if he was to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, as well. Whether Man United are willing to give him this or not, I do not know. Probably, maybe so, you know, to convince him to stay. It did say Man United are willing to offer him the captain's armband on a permanent basis as well. But yeah, Paul Pogba, you know, has got to really step up to the plate, and he's only 26, and he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's heading into his 4th season now as a United player. United paid £89 million for him from Juventus back in 2016. There's also been talks saying that he could make a return back to Italy, back to Juventus, you know, his former club, where he did have 4 good years, you know, to be quite honest with you. The reports coming out last year, I think, saying that Barcelona had also been interested in Paul Pogba as well. But he was talking a lot about Real Madrid a couple of weeks ago as well, so that just indicates that he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course. But Paul Pogba is still one of our standout players, even though most recently he has been in a bad vein of form as well. As I did say, I think Mata's definitely on his way out of the club this summer, possibly. I really, really like Juan Mata. You know, some people are saying he doesn't fit under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system, but Juan Mata's he doesn't get nowhere near now, you know, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, he isn't first choice, Juan Mata. He isn't playing to the highest level anymore. He has lost that yard of pace, and he is age 30 now, is Juan Mata, and he has got a good pedigree in the Premier League as Juan Mata, as we all currently know. And, you know, he's done really, really well at United. He's been a good servant here. You know, this is his 5th season at the club. I think we paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea, of course, as well. well. I think he did serve about 2.5, 3 years with Chelsea as well. Had a lot of experience of playing in Spain, when he was a lot younger, because he graduated from Real Madrid youth system. Then he went on to play for Valencia, for 4 years under Unai Emery as well. But he is no longer, playing to the highest level. He's one man. And even if we did come to an agreement to get him a new contract, it wouldn't be a long-term contract. It'd probably be a 1-year extension or something like that as well. Lukaku, he could possibly play on Sunday against Everton as well. Obviously, it is his former club. Don't forget, and he did really well when he's at Everton. He scored loads and loads of goals, of course, and overall he has got a good pedigree in the Premier League as Romelu Lukaku, and he can score goals. But for me, I've got strong reservations about him. He's a big game bottler. His first touch really concerns me. His finishing isn't good enough at all, and for me, he just doesn't really get enough them runs in behind Romelu Lukaku. So for me, he isn't reliable enough. Maybe sometimes if he's getting that support up front, Lukaku does look a bit more effective, and he does seem to perform a little bit better. So for me, he just isn't reliable enough, and I think Man United maybe are considering moving Lukaku on in the summer as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But Manchester United did pay £75 million for Romelu Lukaku. Don't forget as well. So there is a lot of things to sort out at Manchester United this summer. But the most essential thing is the club have got to get a director of football in. Obviously, we know there's been a lot of talks about Paul Mitchell going on as well. Obviously, Paul Mitchell is head of recruitment. He's the head of recruitment RP Leipzig. Reports did recently say that reportedly Paul Mitchell is going to make his decision on his RP Leipzig future this summer. Obviously, he used to be head of recruitment at Tottenham and Southampton, where he did work alongside Mauricio Pochettino. It's also said that Arsenal and Chelsea are also chasing Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell's obviously born and bred in Manchester. I think he's been in Germany a couple of years now with RP Leipzig, but I think RP Leipzig are trying to convince him to sign a new contract with them until 2025. So there has been a lot of talks about Paul Mitchell going on as well, but we've definitely got to get a director of football to come in to the club as well, and that is the most essential thing indeed. But for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still the right man. I know he hasn't got the experience, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but as I did say, I still believe he can graduate to that elite level. He's got to get the right signs in the summer. It could take us a couple of years, to be up there challenging, of course, and winning trophies again. It could take at least a couple of years, but it just depends who Manchester United, of course, can get in the summer as well. So this is why I said we need Champions League for next season, so it can attract players, to the highest level as well, indeed. But as I did currently say, there's quite a few targets we do know, obviously, that Manchester United are interested in as well. And it's good. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has showed an interest in quite a few young upcoming players as well. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously has a lot of trustworthy in young players, of course, because he has proven it, since he's coming to Manchester United. He has given, he did say he was going to give everybody the chance, including the fringe players, the young players, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done that. But as I did say in the media the other week, there was a lot of talks going on about Moussa Dembele. There's been recent reports coming out about Moussa Dembele, and he's 22 years of age, is Moussa Dembele. This is his first season in France with Lyon, Moussa Dembele. He's a striker. It's also said that Arsenal have showed an interest in him as well, but reportedly Manchester United have showed an interest in Moussa Dembele. I think when he signed for Lyon last summer from Celtic, I think he signed like a 5-year deal. So I think he's under contract with Lyon till 2023. But reportedly this season with Lyon, he's had a really good season as Moussa Dembele as well. I think he scored about 19 goals so far this season as Moussa Dembele. Obviously, he's a former Celtic player who did serve a couple of years at Celtic. He's also a former Fulham player as well. But I think last summer Lyon paid just under £20 million for Moussa Dembele from Celtic, of course, as well. But he's very young, as I did say. He's only 22 years of age. So there has been talks about him going on the media. So potentially Man United could identify him as a possible replacement for Romelu Lukaku as well. So there has been talks about Moussa Dembele going on. But as I did currently say, we do know basically, what players, would you like to come to Manchester United this summer? And Jadon Sancho, for me, is the right solution for Manchester United. And we need that dedicated width. We need someone on that right-hand side without a shadow of a doubt. Someone that can play between the bylines. Someone that, can put crosses into the box. Jadon Sancho is more than capable of doing that, to be quite honest with you. And in this couple of years with Borussia Dortmund, he's been absolutely fantastic indeed. And I've analysed some of his performances. I've watched him quite a few times. He can score goals. He can provide. He can also create chances as well. He's only 19 years of age. He just recently turned 19 years of age as Jadon Sancho, and recent reports have actually implicated, saying that reportedly he's interested in making a return to Manchester, because obviously Jadon Sancho has had experience, of playing in Manchester, because obviously he is a former Manchester City player, where he did serve a couple of years. Obviously he never broke into the first team, or he was never guaranteed, to get to play regularly in the first team, and this is the main reason why he left City, and of course went to Borussia Dortmund. Indeed, of course, as well, Jadon Sancho, he's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund till 2022, but Borussia Dortmund, I think, only paid around, was it £7-8 million from Manchester City a couple of years ago, so financially they'd make a huge profit on Jadon Sancho this summer, if they were willing, to sanction him off, but Borussia Dortmund still know how much of a central player he is to them, but I think it would cost Man United in the region of around £100 million to get Jadon Sancho this summer, so if we're willing to offer £100 million, this would probably convince Dortmund to sanction him off, and obviously, we'd make him the most expensive English footballer ever if we did, come to an agreement to get him. Obviously, as well, it'd make him our most expensive signing, of course, as well. So we have been heavily linked with him. There has been a narrative going on about now for the last 5 or 6 weeks, or something like that, as well. So there has been a lot of talks going on about Jadon Sancho, and I think he is, the club's number one priority target. But there's been talks about Callum Hudson-Odoi, going on as well. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, again, not too long ago, he made his England senior debut. Again, he's one of England's youngest upcoming talents. Is Callum Hudson-Odoi. He can play as a winner. He can also play as a forward as well. So do you think he'd blend in, our team very, very well? If he was to possibly come in this summer, if Chelsea were planning, to sanction him off this summer, I think he'd be available for a reasonable figure. You'd probably get him for maybe just under £40 million, or maybe just over £40 million, Callum Hudson-Odoi. But as we all do know, Chelsea have got a transfer ban. Chelsea have appealed against this decision. I don't know if this, this will be delayed about, this transfer ban. And Chelsea, are at high risk of possibly, losing Eden Hazard this summer. So from Chelsea's preference, they wouldn't want to lose Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he is one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Obviously, I think Bayern Munich could possibly revive their interest in him this summer. It was Bayern Munich's top priority, back in January. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down. Bayern Munich were in talks, because Bayern Munich are looking to get quite a few young upcoming talents, young upcoming players into their squad, because they have got a host of aging players of Bayern Munich as well. And obviously, I think Arjen Robben is set to leave Bayern Munich this summer. And back in January, he did say Bayern Munich were willing to offer Callum Hudson-Odoi, the number 10 role as well. But recent reports said Man United have joined the race for him. It's also said Liverpool have held talks with his agent as well. So Liverpool have also expressed an interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he's still got a contract with Chelsea till 2020. I think Chelsea have been in the process, to try and convince him to sign a new contract with Chelsea. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks going on about Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he did initially put a transfer request back in January, because he did want to leave, did Callum Hudson-Odoi, but Chelsea, of course, were reluctant to let him go as well. So Manchester United have also showed an interest in him as well. For me, we definitely, need a right back. Of course, we need a right back, and there has been a lot of talks, going on about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. His defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good indeed, and we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, again, is available for a reasonable figure. I think he's valued at around £40 million. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He only broke into the Crystal Palace first team last year as well. Of course, did Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So there has been a lot of talks going on about him. I think it did say quite a few weeks back, Man United were preparing to put a £35 million bid in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But for me, it'd be a great upgrade in that full back position, and he has got, I think his defensive capabilities are good, and I think he has got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next couple of years. He's only 21 years of age, don't forget his Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. I think he's made about 40 senior appearances, for Crystal Palace, since he got into the first team as well. So there has been a lot of talks, going on about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think on the left-hand side, we're probably okay on the left-hand side, because let's be honest, that's where the majority of our attack is coming from, that left-hand side, to be quite honest. For me, we probably are okay on the left-hand side, but we do potentially know that we do need a central defender as well, and we do basically know that Toby Alderweireld is available for a reasonable figure this summer. It says Man U have been interested. It also said, it's a shock this, it also said that Arsenal have showed an interest in Alderweireld as well. We do know he's a much cheaper alternative, Alderweireld, Alderweireld, to the likes of the Raphael Varans, the Koulibalis, and all that as well. He's potentially nowhere near as good Alderweireld, because obviously now Alderweireld is now aging up. He's just turned 30 years of age. I have got reservations about him. He has lost that yard of pace, Alderweireld, to be quite honest. So I still think he'd be a good upgrade in our defensive line, with Alderweireld. He's Premier League proven of course, as well. And he has been at Tottenham a number of years, but he's got a release clause of £25 million. So Alderweireld is going to be available for £25 million this summer, because Tottenham activated a 12-month extension back in January, something like that, of course, and they included this £25 million release clause because I think Alderweireld wants to leave. He's intending on leaving because he's refused to sign a contract renewal with Tottenham, as well as Alderweireld. But yeah, Man United were linked to him last summer, but of course, we couldn't come to an agreement to get Alderweireld last summer as well. So yeah, Man United have been linked to him. I think Man United are interested in triggering his release clause this summer. So there has been a lot of talks going on about Alderweireld, but he is much cheaper alternative to the likes of Koulibaly and Raphael Varane. And I like Raphael Varane. I really like Raphael Varane. He'd address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well. He shows that ability to play out from the back. He reads the game very, very well. It's remarkable what he's achieved as a Real Madrid player, because he's won about 15, 16 major honours as a Real Madrid player as Raphael Varane. I think this is now his 8th season with Real Madrid. I think if Real Madrid are willing to sanction him off this summer, I don't think they want to sanction him off, but if they are willing to sanction him off, I think they are going to demand that his release clause has to be currently triggered. And his release clause is absolutely huge in his current deal with Madrid. I think his release clause is around 429 million, as I did currently say. So are any team prepared to pay that? Because there's been quite a few teams that have been interested in Raphael Varane, and he's still got a contract with Madrid till 2022 as well. And he's only 25 years of age, is Raphael Varane, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, as we all know as well. So there has been talks about him going on, because reports came out from Spain the other week saying that reportedly Raphael Varane is considering leaving Real Madrid this summer. So we have been hearing a lot of talks about that going on, and we do obviously know Koulibaly is obviously a Manchester United target as well. So potentially we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline as well, and that's what Manchester United have got to do. We do know obviously we need a couple of additions in midfield. We do know Bruno Fernandes. There's been a lot of talks going on about Bruno Fernandes, to be quite honest. And do you think the likes of Bruno Fernandes or possibly Joe Felix would be the right solution for Manchester United? No, maybe not both of them. Maybe not Bruno Fernandes and Joe Felix. Maybe not both of them. But do you think one of them, would be the right addition, to Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes or Joe Felix? Bruno Fernandes, has tied it up really, really well in Portugal, and Bruno Fernandes has been, with Sporting Lisbon a couple of years. We know he's got a release clause of around £90 million in his deal with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, he used to play for Sampdoria and underneath, so when he was younger, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, did Bruno Fernandes, but still only young, only 24 years of age, still got a lot of years ahead of him as well. Reports in Portugal came out saying that Manchester United have been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives, of course, as well. I think he's actually mainly an attacking midfielder, is Bruno Fernandes, so there has been a lot of talks going on about him. Joe Felix as well. Man United, have instructed scouts. Scouts have been watching Joe Felix on a regular basis, based on his good performances in Portugal as well, with Benfica. I think he only broke into the Benfica first team last year. I think his buyout clause, is around £100 million, Joe Felix as well. I think he's versatile, this player. I think he mainly does play on the wing, for Benfica, but I'm pretty sure he can play as a forward. Can he play in the midfield as well? I'll have to look a bit more of that up. But I think he's versatile, is Joe Felix, to be quite honest with you. But there were quite a few teams that were interested in Felix, back in the January transfer window as well. I think Liverpool had inquired back in January, and quite a few other teams inquired as well. So Manchester United have been interested in Joe Felix as well, but his buyout clause is around £100 million indeed. But as I did currently say, guys, this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, he's come out, I did say on my preview, I've watched some of his press conference, and he has said, in relation to some of the players, obviously, some of them, need reality checks. Solskjaer has spoken to Anthony Martial. He's basically said to Martial, he needs to get a reality check. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has analysed, some players' poor performances, and he's obviously said some of these players, need to get a reality check, and he's absolutely spot on, to be quite honest with you. And in some situations, in, the recent form and that, you know, in some situations you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, for possibly, you know, some of his team selections and all that as well. But these players on that pitch have got to take responsibility, because potentially the squad, the team from back to front is potentially not good enough. Most recently, we haven't seen no fight, no passion, lacking desire, of course, as well, and we are lacking leaders in that team. So potentially, for me, there is no leadership, of course, as well. So we have got to get the right players this summer, and we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window, and that is very, very essential indeed. And we want to get back to the way we was under Alex Ferguson. For me, it's going to maybe take at least maybe a couple of years, you know, to get us back to that, you know, level as we was under Alex Ferguson, of course. But we'll see what happens anyway. So we've got to win this game on Sunday against Everton. It's a big, big game. Every game now for Manchester United to the end of the season is a cup final, because obviously we've got to win them all to keep our top four ambitions alive as well. City's going to be an extremely difficult game. Chelsea's going to be a difficult game, of course, but then I think we've got Huddersfield and Cardiff, and they are two games Manchester United should be winning, of course, as well, indeed. So anyway, guys, as I did say, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.